Introduce us. Welcome, everyone, to another live ALEC TV broadcast. We're coming to you from downtown Atlanta at the ALEC 49th annual meeting. And as you can see, we have our keynote speaker, an American icon for sure, the Honorable Newt Gingrich is joining us. Thank you for being here to speak to the state lawmakers. What is your message today to our lawmakers?
Well, I think that they have this extraordinary opportunity to offer positive solutions. I think that the big government socialists have failed so badly that they have created a vacuum in which people, everyday people who might not normally have looked to us, are now saying, anybody who has better ideas on inflation, on gasoline prices, on the price of food, on fixing the schools, there's an openness there. And frankly, when you go out and you look at the states that have Republican leadership, they're doing so much better than places like California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, that you're really beginning to see the effect of organizations like ALEC that develops solutions, communicates them across the country, and really grows them from the grassroots. I've been active with ALEC, I think, since, around 1980. And the greatest strength of ALEC is that at the grassroots level, there are lots of smart legislators doing smart things, and they bring it to ALEC, and then it becomes, people across the whole country learn about it. And so we have a real evolution underway of better government, better solutions, better approaches.
Tell us about the new American majority. What is that?
Well, we've had a project started by Bernie Marcus to look for, can we break out of this very narrow fight and find issues that bring people together on a big basis? And early on, we discovered, for example, that 87% of the American people really want to get back to an America that works. We found that if you ask people, do you agree with Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., that it is the content of your character, not the color of your skin? That's a 91-6. So all these people who want the new anti-white racism represent a really tiny part of the country. And we've gone through a whole series of those kind of questions. I know Joe DeSantis, for example, was here from Gingrich 360 talking about our health program, what we're doing in healthcare, working with states and with the federal government. And our goal is to be able to develop an American majority. I really emphasize this, not a Republican majority, not a conservative majority, but to bring together Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody who wants to see us get back to being a productive, positive country based on the principles of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. And I think you could build a 65 to 70% majority around those principles.
So speaking of that, what is your outlook for November?
Oh, I think at the rate things are going now, we're going to win very substantially in the House, between 25 and 70 seats, and probably pick up between 2 and 7 seats in the Senate. I think you're going to see an American tsunami, not a red wave, but a red, white, and blue wave. And I think it's, first of all, because things aren't working. I mean, you go out and talk to people who can't afford gasoline. They can't afford to buy the food. One woman said she has to go to 4 or 5 stores to get baby formula, and she can't afford the gasoline to go to 4 or 5 stores. So it gives you a flavor of why I think the Biden left-wing Democratic Party is going to be pretty badly repudiated this fall.
Well, that all sounds fabulous. What keeps you up at night? What could go wrong between now and November that might hurt this conservative movement that's really growing?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of things that keep me up at night. Nuclear war is one. An electromagnetic pulse attack would be one. I think the biggest thing is 2 things. One, getting Republicans to understand this is a different world. It's a different time. People want a solution-oriented system that is open to everybody. They don't want a narrow base intensity. They want a base broadening. And you see this with Latinos who are now dramatically leaving the Democratic Party in huge numbers. The second thing that concerns me is that the left still has control of the news media, the universities, most of the bureaucracy, some of the big corporations, and the federal government. And I think you have to worry about, they know that in a straight up fight, they're going to get wiped out this fall. So you have to ask yourself, what will they do to try to rig the game or to try to cheat? And I think, one of their techniques is going to be to try to keep Republicans from even being on the ballot.
And lastly, you have a book out, a new book. Can
Yes.
you tell us about it?
Yeah, it's called Defeating Big Government Socialism. And it's based on the idea that we have to not just win on prior performance, but we have to get across it. This failure of performance by Biden and the Democrats is a failure based on policies that are wrong, policies that don't work. And I think Margaret Thatcher once said, first you win the argument, then you win the vote. We have a chance this year and in 24 to win an argument that puts people like AOC in a permanent minority for the rest of her life. Now, that's a goal worth working on.
Do you have any final words for our state lawmakers around the country?
Have the courage to do the big, bold, positive things necessary to solve our problems and get us moving forward so that we can reassert once again that we are the most successful, most prosperous, safest, and freest system in the world.
Thank you so much.
Great to be with you.
Thank you, Speaker. And check out the book, Defeating Big Government Socialism. It's been an honor to have Speaker Newt Gingrich with us here today at the 49th Annual ALEC meeting, coming to you from downtown Atlanta. We'll see you next time on another ALEC TV broadcast.